So thank you. My name is Kad Kane. I was born and raised in Niger, where I'm from, in West Africa. And I am the founder and president of the African Development University, ADU. So I'm going to tell the audience about the story of ADU, how we ended up creating this university in an extremely difficult environment with no resource, and how we basically create a new model of innovation, bringing all the stakeholders together to really put in place this institution that is up and running and making everyone proud. Yeah, I guess it was really how can I put it? It was a combination of several factors. One will be hardworking, other will be good fortune, and the third one will be timing. So I came to Niger after I graduated from HKS in the US. I came with Meredith, one of my closest friends who used to be in the political campaign of President Obama. And we basically brought together all the stakeholders in Niger: parents, students, government, First Lady, the President himself, the corporate world, and the traditional leaders, and telling them, hey, so this is the situation. You all are facing some economic, political, or societal issues, and we think at the convergence of all these issues, education can be the solution. Do you want to be part of it? And surprisingly, everyone joined, and it became really like a social movement. Everyone came together to help in different capacities, and something we planned to start in 3 years was up and running in 3 months. That's how we did it, knowing that we were not ready. So I am the founder of the university, and I'm currently the president. I will say running a university every day, when you come from the private sector without a real experience in academia, except being a student myself, it's quite challenging. I think I'm learning every single day. I love the process of learning, but at the same time, learning comes with mistakes, and I do them all the time. And I guess that sometimes the impact can be important, and also it slows our progresses. So this is one key challenge that I face on a personal level. For the organizations, we face two key challenges. One is raising awareness. As you know, Niger is not even well known by most people. So I will always have to explain what Niger is, where it is, and how different it is from any conception someone will have about Africa. And so this is one of the key challenges, raising awareness on Niger and on the project. And the second is funding, of course. So raising funds has been really, really challenging since we started. But we're making progress as well. So ILIMI, the African Development University, actually ILIMI is a Hausa term. Hausa is the second most spoken language in Africa, and in our part of Africa, Niger, Nigeria, it's like one of the largest. In Niger, it's the #1 language. So it means ethical knowledge, and it tells a lot about what we're trying to achieve with this university. Teaching students knowledge, but a knowledge that they can use to leverage ethical behavior, ethical leadership in society. You know, there is something common when you look at all our leaders. They all have college education. That's something across the line. But how come African countries are really not there when all of them have the highest possible education? We think there's a missing something in the education, and that's the ethical part, the commitment to serve, really. And that's what we embed as core in our education. So currently, we offer undergraduate programs, graduate and executive education. We have about 250 people in our community, 110 in undergrad, 40 in masters, another 100 in English, and a few in executive education. But I guess one of the key things that we're extremely proud of is in a country where the role of women is really, really challenging in the world. 70% of our student population is made of women after a very competitive entrance exam. So they just ended up being the best, and that's year after year. Systematically, women are the best in our entrance exam, and as a result, our community is heavily leveraging the role of women in society. I guess what they can learn is really the business model, the innovation in setting up the university. Usually, to start a university or a business school, you need large resources. Like you need to raise lots of money, the brick and mortar approach, the permanent faculty, PhDs. So lack of resources and scarcity made us go extremely far in terms of innovation. The way we built the whole thing, the way we brought the stakeholders to cover basically all the fundamental parts, the way we focus on ethics, on 21st century skills, while teaching them the solid knowledge, I guess flexibility is something we can teach the universities in the world, and innovation as well. Oh, lots of big dreams and big projects, right? Right now, we are moving towards our sustainability plan. By year 5, we would like to be to break even, and for that to happen, we need to be around 800 to 1,000 students. And for that to happen, we need capacity, physical capacity. So we're raising money to finish our second building that can host up to 800 students, and then after that, we are thinking of launching a large capital campaign to build a world-class campus where we can have like residential programs. That's something that's going on. And on parallel, we're planning to launch an engineering school as soon as our permanent campus will be built. So on one hand, moving in the business school, and the other hand, thinking about the future in terms of engineering school. So that's, I will say these are our big projects in the line now, yeah. Oh, I think it's extreme. I'm extremely optimistic. I think business education is here to stay. When you look at the challenges countries like my country are facing, we need managers in pretty much all the sectors, private, public, and even non-profit. And for all these sectors, I guess the best place to be prepared to serve is really in a business school. So for me, the future is definitely with and within business schools, yeah. It's fundamental, and that's why I came here, and that's also why I'm so grateful to Andrew Mann-Wilson, your CEO, who really was so gracious by inviting me. I mean, my business school, my university is not at the level to participate in this conference, right? We're a startup. But he opened the door and he gave us the light so we can share with the world what we are doing. And this is extremely critical to build credibility, to reassure the community, and also to reassure our people, our teams that are working day and night in face of the impossible. When the world is looking at us and when the world wants to work with us, then it gives a special and a different energy to each and every member of the team. And I guess that's how we can not only push mountains, but just lift them and throw them away and have the way clear. So it's absolutely fundamental for us to build the partnerships. And that's one of the calls I will make at the end of my keynote, working together for success with everyone.